It was meant to be a declaration, a statement, a moment where a rising star would cement her place among the elite. For Alexandra Eala, it felt like everything was aligned: the ranking, the momentum, the belief. And yet, here she was, staring down defeat in the opening round of the 2025 Guangzhou Open, a tournament where she entered with the weight of expectation firmly on her shoulders. From the first point, Eala looked composed. The court felt like home. She struck a forehand, moved with purpose. The first set, hers, 6-2. That initial surge was textbook dominance. Her opponent, Claire Liu of the USA, looked rattled. Eala's serve was crisp, her returns sharp. At that moment, it seemed inevitable. The young Filipino ace was ready to move on to the next challenge, the next round. And then the momentum shifted. In the second set, Eala held a 4-2 lead, 2 games from cruising. And yet, the transformation began. Liu's defense deepened, her resolve hardened. Suddenly, the ball was not bouncing for Eala the way it had in the first. The serves that had been working began to wobble. The returns that had landed began to float. Eala sensed the change. She just couldn't stop it. Game by game, Liu sneaked closer. Break points mounted. Eala's lead evaporated. The second set slipped away, 4-6. The comeback was real, and with that, what had started as a confident stroll now turned into a test of nerves. In the decider, Eala once again grabbed the early lead, 3-1. The crowd leaned in. She had regained control. She had the momentum. She could still salvage this. But in tennis, as all great stories remind us, the tide waits for no one. Liu regrouped. She clawed her way back. She broke serve, she held, and then she broke again. At 4-4, the pendulum swung. The arena became still. Each rally carried more weight than the last. Eala attempted to reassert herself. She pushed, she lunged, she tried to impose that opening set command, but the spark had gone out. Each shot carried the burden of what had slipped away. The second set loss had opened a door, and Liu stepped through it. When the match ended, the scoreboard read 2-6, 6-4, 6-4, a shock, a collapse, a reminder that in professional sport nothing is certain. Eala, seeded number 4 in that draw and ranked world number 53 at the moment, had bowed out in the first round. Philstar.com +3 GMA Network +3 Golf News +3. The scenes that followed were the kind that press conferences don't like to dwell on. No triumphant fist pump. No walking off under the spotlight. Instead, there was silence. A towel over the face. A crowded court. A star whose sunrise had been expected to blaze, but whose darkness arrived early. For a player who had scaled peaks, making history at a Grand Slam, capturing a WTA 125 title, breaking new ground for her country, this setback was raw. She had just in September captured the competitor's dream, a first WTA 125 title, becoming the first from her nation to do so. Wikipedia plus Yems. Now, just weeks later, the defeat exposed a vulnerability that few wanted to acknowledge. What went wrong? Was it the pressure of expectation, the fatigue of travel, the emotional weight of carrying an entire nation's hopes? All of it, perhaps. When the lens magnifies you, every imperfection is visible. For Eala, every shot in that match that didn't land felt magnified. There is a moment in sport when a young athlete realizes that victory and defeat share the same stage. Eala had been riding the wave of her own success. The crowd watching her from Manila and beyond expected fireworks. The media talked about trajectory, milestones, next big thing, and on paper she was making it happen. But on the court in Guangzhou, she discovered that momentum can shift in a heartbeat. One set can vanish, a lead can unravel, and triumph can slip through your fingers just when victory seemed certain. Yet, herein lies the paradox. Sometimes the fall defines the rise, because what the scoreline doesn't show is the resilience required to dig out of this moment. The quiet hours after, when a player must face the mirror. The long flights, the training sessions, the unanswered questions. For Alexandra Eala, this defeat doesn't erase what she achieved. It reframes it. It forces perspective. It demands that the next chapter be written with grit, not just talent. There is a reason sports fans are drawn to these moments. The reversal, the humanization of the star, the glimpse behind the curtain. Eala's rise had been a story of breakthrough after breakthrough, beating Grand Slam champions, winning titles, making history. Then the fall reminds us, greatness is not a straight line. What happens next will matter more than what just happened. Will she let this defeat define her, or will it fuel her? Because there's a hunger now, a silence, a space for reflection. In that space, Eala can recalibrate, she can rebuild. The expectation may feel heavier, yes, but she carries within her something rare: youth, opportunity, and the audacity to try again. For the fans in the Philippines, for tennis observers around the world, this moment feels critical. Not because she lost, but because what she does after resonates. Does she shrug it off? Does she absorb the blow and keep going? Or does the weight of what was expected become too heavy? Look at the scoreboard again. 2-6, 6-4, 6-4. The first set, dominance. The rest, unravel. Yet, somewhere in that unraveling is truth. In the storytelling of sport, the hero's path is not just defined by the summit, it is shaped by the descent. In losing, Eala has an opportunity to show that the sunrise after darkness is the most brilliant light, that the greatest meteors burn and then rise again, that the champion's journey is cyclical, sometimes ascent, sometimes fall, sometimes resurrection. As the next tournament approaches and the cameras return, all eyes will be on how she responds. Will her serve be sharper? Will her mind remain calm under pressure? Will she reclaim the form that carried her this far? For now, let the audience hold this. A star in waiting has been humbled, and that doesn't mean she's broken. It means she's human. It means the story is unfinished. It means the best chapters may still lie ahead. Because when Alexandra Eala walks back onto court, fans won't just remember the defeat, they'll remember how she came back. And if she does, her name won't just be spoken in terms of potential, it will be spoken in achievement. The next chapter begins now, and this time the stakes are higher, not because the victory will be easy, but because the redemption will be sweeter.